Hi, this is Eric Martin with BoardGameGeek. I'm here with KC from Nibcard. Thank you for joining us this evening, KC.
Thank
I
you
know
so
it's
much, Eric.
rather,
It's actually nice to see
yeah.
you again.
I know it's kind of early in the morning for you. So I appreciate you staying up.
It's actually 1 a.m., 12:58 p.m. right now. So yeah, it's kind of
Yes.
good morning.
So we got to speak a little bit during Gen Con about some of the games you're coming out with. You have a new one here we're featuring, Village War, the Calamity. Seems a little bigger than the games you've designed in the past. I don't know if that's true.
Yes,
At least reading the rules seem
yes, absolutely.
a little more involved.
So Village War is a game we've been designing for, constantly for over 18 months. And then it started from a mechanics of a game we've been playing for years. So it's something that a lot of people have quite played. And like you said, it's bigger because of the map, the resources that had to come into the game, editors, illustrators, producers. So had to do songs. There are lots of research because the theme story is a little part of my culture. I don't want to come and misinterpret that, especially on a product that could go on a global scale. So it took a while. There were discussions with elderly people about traditions, so we were able to represent it, and as well adding our fantasies as well. So yeah, it's one of the biggest games I've designed.
Okay. Do you want to talk a little bit about the backstory or just get into the play? Because I know when you sent me some information, you sent a rule book as well as story as well.
Yes.
So
Yes. So the journey of Village War is something that is quite interesting for us because the storybook is the beginning of a sequel. At the moment, we have a 5-game prototype for Village, and they already have a storyline, and the storybook does that. So the story sets in Nri Kingdom, and then it's the birthplace of the Igbo people. So Eri, who was a Chi, so Chi is an English translator for a god. He descended in on Nri, and then he asked Chukwu to grant him his heart desire, which is to settle in Nri. So in his negotiation with Chukwu, that is the supreme god, he lost his immortality, and then he was given a land to settle. But then it came at a cost, and the cost was that the day his descendants will separate, that day something would begin, and then that is the fate. Now that fate will only be known on the 5th game. So now this is the first game, which is Village War, the Calamity that brought tears to the eyes of the gods. So that's how the name came up. And a little spoiler, the second one is Village War, the Invasion. And each of the games have unique game mechanics. So this first one is competitive because they divided, and it's not about annihilation. So the villages are not going to kill. Even in the game, you cannot fully annihilate the warriors, but it's about who is the greatest among. So and collects tributes, and these are that happened in the olden days in my culture. So it's about we don't want to kill them off, but we want them to be paying us yearly tributes. And so that is the Calamity. But what they don't know is that it has already been fated years ago. An interesting thing is that the years we used are real life history years. And this has facts. The storybook will show you all of these things. And then beyond the story, we also added inspirations for each artwork and each locations. So all locations mentioned in the game are real locations in the Igbo community, that is the southeastern part of Nigeria. And each artifact card, they have a linkage to the culture. And we featured masquerades, and you get to read more about this masquerade in the storybook. So yeah, I'm quite excited about the story because it lays the foundation of the whole things that happen. So for the second game, yeah, so those are the artifacts. So for the second game, which is invasion, all the villagers will have to come together, and it's a cooperative game. So the storybook would show the journey. I'm so excited about it.
okay. All right. So we're set up here. This is a 4 or 5 player game where
Yes.
each player has their own location and their own, was it troops? Right word?
Warriors.
Warriors. And
So on the
you're
table, what
going
you're
to,
seeing on the table is the 5 villages. So this is the war of 5 villages. It's a 4 to 5 player game, and each of these villages have 10 warriors each, different characters, and then there are 55 resources which are shared randomly across all the players. And then there are the artifacts. Each player receives 3 different 3 artifacts, and then each player will now select 5 warriors out of their 10 warriors. So the table warriors are placed on the villages.
okay. All right. So maybe we can get a look at some of the warriors. I don't know if Lincoln can take one of the cards, groups of cards.
Okay. So you can select. So each of these table warriors, 5 are selected and dropped in on the village, and then 5 are held in the hand.
Okay. And they have different strength values as well as tributes.
Yes. And those are important. Usually it takes 3 gameplay for players to understand how to use that mechanic. It's really important, the warriors that you bring out to the village, and then the warriors you're holding in your hand. So when you have these 5, all the villages would open their cards at the same time. So they will reveal all their 5 village warriors. And once that is done, then the war begins. So during each game round, a player can do any of this. A player can complete an attack. A player can conduct a minor attack, I will explain. Or a player can conduct what we call a guard attack, or a player can defend. Now, to complete a complete attack is when you use a warrior of higher value to attack a warrior of lower value. And in that case, the warrior that has been attacked, the village that has been attacked, can offer a tribute to the player who attacked. And if this is done, you are obligated to collect the tribute. So there are 2 tribute options.
Let me back up just a second here. So each of us, we're choosing 5 cards to go onto the field, and those are all revealed at the same time. So we see everybody's forces around at the different locations, as well as what we have in front of us. Okay. And of course, if I see what you have in front of you, I know what you have in your hand because we all have the same 10 cards.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that is actually the case. But during the game, during the gameplay, you focus more on the resources than the player. So knowing what people have does not really matter once the game has started. But that's why all the players reveal it at the same time. So if you know what someone is playing, you would know what to play. So but once all the players reveal it at the same time, it no longer affects the gameplay. So that's why all the warriors are placed face down.
Okay.
Is that
okay?
So
yes.
So that's a complete attack. When a tribute is offered, you're obligated to. Bearing in mind that the winner of the game is not necessarily the person that wins the battle. The winner of the game is the person that has the most victory points. And the victory point is a combination of bonus points, the kills, the resources that were collected, and even in the kills, there are different qualities for the royals and for the odibos. So these are things that are explained carefully on the storybook and on the rulebook. So when you're fighting the battle, it's about the priority. Who do you want to save and who do you want to attack? And then you have the artifact that constantly changes the game. So this that the gods bless you with, so the chief bless you with, and you can buy more by offering the resources. So once you can offer resources, and you don't have to worry because these are all behind the wall. So this information gives you, lets you know how much resources that is required to get the artifact or the value of the resources. So this helps you decide which action you want to take. Is it a complete attack or is it a minor attack? Now, in the case of a minor attack, that is when you don't want for a minor attack, you do not want a tribute from anyone. You just want to fight. Now you use a warrior of lower value and place on top of the village you are attacking their warrior of higher value. So that way you have done the first attack and they have to either defend during their next one. And then there's also the guarding attack, which is interesting. That is where some of the powers come up. So in guarding attack, other people can actually interfere in that fight, but they have to follow the rule of the game. So say Aguleri attacks Ogota.
Yeah.
So by is when you use warriors of the same value on another warrior in the village. I know this whole sounds a lot, but we have a detailed rule book that's also translated in German, and it clearly tells you what to do and how to do that. And then we also okay.
I was going to say, maybe we can do some examples of particular cards on the green screen, and then we can carry out the results and show what happens.
Okay.
So,
awesome.
So for a guard attack, you're attacking someone with the same strength, and you're attacking from your hand or from the table.
So you always attack from your hand, and then you attack the ones on the table.
Okay.
And a player is eliminated from the game if their players on the table are finished. So you're out of the game if your table warriors are finished, are eliminated.
Okay. Okay. So guard attack is from the hand onto the table with the same power, and now you're not eliminating that person, you're just blocking them.
So what you're doing is you're blocking them from paying you a tribute. So it's very obvious that someone is going to get eliminated in that situation, and other players can get involved as well. So say who is from Ogota.
Yeah.
Okay. If I had 6.
Okay.
And then 6.
Mm-hmm.
If this 6 was on the village this way.
Okay.
And then I have this in my hand, and I'm from this village.
Yes.
During a guard attack, all I have to do is place this on this, because they are the same. Now, once this is done, none of these tributes can be paid.
Okay.
The interesting thing about this particular move is that any other player can join, but there are things to do to be able to join. Any other player can get involved in this. However, in this situation, in a situation such as
Yep.
7. Now, this is a complete attack.
Because you have a higher number and you're overwhelming that defender.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the idea behind it is that obviously you're more powerful and it's a war. And then the player that was attacked can choose to pick any of these, bearing in mind that they have different
colors. Okay.
Yes. They have different values. And these values, and if you don't have anyone, then you pay the highest one you have at the point. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, yes.
7.
So
when you're paying the tribute as well. Yes. So you have a complete attack where you're putting down a stronger force the defender can pay either tribute, and when that happens, the attacker does what? Goes back to the player's hand?
Yes, the attacker must return his hand and collect the tribute. Unless in the case of artifacts.
Okay,
so
because artifacts can...
The attacker must collect a tribute when offered. But in a guarding attack, the attacker can choose not to. So the attacker is saying, no, I just want to eliminate you, because the last village standing collects tributes from all the villages. So it's still a fight. So it's an elimination game. So the last village collects the tribute of, if the last player standing has 2 warriors alive, each player are going to pay tribute for each of the warriors alive. And you don't want that to happen. So that's why you want to eliminate every other people's warriors, because you don't want to pay off the tribute you've been collecting and holding behind your war. And again, remember, the game is about victory points.
Okay.
And then,
so I was going to say, so the choices of the cards that you put out into the field, how do they come into play? Because they are only targets. They are only things that can be attacked, and that's it. That's
a very, very good question. And that was why I said in the beginning, usually it takes from all the ones we've been playing a lot in the cafe, it takes, after playing the first game, you say, oh, I shouldn't have brought out these warriors. I should have done this and that. Now, what comes into play is this: the resources you have. Now, if you have, so there are 5 types of resources, and they have the values written here. Now, if you have lots of this, if you have a lot of this, now you want to put out warriors that you can pay a tribute of this in the fight, or you leave early. Now, if you have, so your resources influences the warriors you put out, and then the warriors, some of them have powers. So the masquerade have power, the animal summoner have power, and the priestess have power. And then you see what they do here as well.
Okay. I don't know if Lincoln can put the screen up.
So, sorry.
No. Oh, Lincoln has it there. There you go.
Thanks. This is amazing. So now you want, because of these powers, you want to know the warriors you want to bring out to the field. And the tricky thing about it is that some of this power can work for your enemy if they are eliminated. So, and then you have the masquerade. Only the masquerade can eliminate the king. So there are a lot of things, decisions that you have to think through before you select the warriors. And then that is where your strategy even starts from. There are people that their strategy, over time that we've played it, their strategy is to get a lot of artifacts immediately, to use the artifacts, because you can play an artifact and also play your turn. So you can play an artifact and play or buy an artifact and also perform an attack or defense. So there are just so many things that would make you, but it's not something, unless you're like a huge hitman. But usually you have to play it the first time, and then you now begin to say, okay.
Okay. So you mentioned the animal summoner, the priestess, the masquerade. Are those specific values on cards, or they're labeled a certain way? How do we know which ones are which?
Okay. So yes, there are specific value cards. So so let me just quickly look here. So the masquerade is a value of 0. So this is a masquerade from the Oguta village. So all the value 0 power ranks are masquerades. Then these are animal summoners. They are the 7. So the animal summoners have animals with them. And if you read the storybook, you see how they existed, because the storybook gives you how this descendants of Eri and Nne and how other deities came to the land and how they procreated and their position in the society. So you understand how the animal summon also they came into existence and how they have their powers and all, including the priestess as well. So this is the animal summoner for the Ohofia village. So each value 7 are animal summoners. Each value 6 are
The
6
priestess.
are 6. I think priests or masquerade priests.
Okay.
So this is a priest, and the value is 6. Exactly, that's on the screen. Exactly.
Okay.
Some of the characters, combination of both gives you a new power as well. So you have combine animal summoner with a priestess, and you increase their value immediately. Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So this now increases the value to 13, and it's the highest value in the game is 10. So if there is a guard attack that is with less than 13, you can actually invade those warriors and you pick warriors. It's
Okay.
sorry, I'm just
No, so let me back up a second. So we have our cards in our own villages. We have cards in our hand.
Yeah.
If we're doing a guard attack, we are just playing it on top and it's staying there. My card is guarding the other one in that other player's village, but nothing is happened yet. Nothing's been captured. It still just sits there, and now my card is the one that would be vulnerable to attack.
Yes. Okay, that's also a very, very good. So when that happens, you also get eliminated out of the game if your hand warrior finishes.
Okay.
So your hand warrior finishes, you get eliminated out of the game. Your table warrior finishes, you get eliminated out of the game. So you have to be very careful and calculative how you are using your hand warriors. So you can't just guard them and leave them there. If you're doing that, then you have you should make sure that you're following up with a complete attack, or someone comes into that battle. And the funny thing is that there's a concept called Nkali. Now Nkali is an Igbo language for now it's I'm not sure there is one word in English that I can use to, but it's something of, I'm showing you that I'm the boss because this is my my hood,
Right.
So that happens when a player defends twice. So if someone guards you and you defend, and someone else either do a minor attack or another guarding, if you defend twice, the third time, you have eliminated all the cards below that one you've played. So what that means is that is your hood, and you'll be able to do that. I will explain on the screen now. So if the Ohofia, this was the warrior in Ohofia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Ogota with a value of 5.
Right.
That's yeah. And then I'm looking for 0. Okay. And then I defend. So I defend.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when another player comes, because this is now the new face of the card, if another player comes into this fight, so this is Aguilera, comes into the fight, If I'm defending again, if I'm defending now, the third time,
It eliminates.
oh, this is second time now.
Yes.
Now I've defended again now. These are all
We can
happening during.
pretend.
Sorry
Right.
about my hand. Now that is my second. Now any other thing that happens now, I can do what is called Nkali because this is my village. And any card I play, I will take all the players' card because I've been able to defend twice and nobody have won this particular warrior that has been there since. Then what happened is I take this card, I take the rest as my kill, and then the card I used to defend goes back to my hand warrior, and then the rest becomes part of my kill.
Okay.
So whenever you attack.
Okay. So we just have a couple minutes more. And you were saying that when you have no more hand cards, you're out of the game, but you don't actually mean you've lost. You just mean you're not playing anymore. You were done.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So when you're
because
out of the game, it doesn't mean that you've lost the game. So we've seen people that won the game, but that won the battle, but they did not win the game. Because the game is about victory points, and victory points are made up of bonuses, made up of resources. Remember the resources, you could have a lot of the white and it's not valued, and you just have the green and you're getting the green. Exactly. And then also combination of the kills that you made, the royals come 2 points and other kills are 1 point. So those are how you win the game. So yeah. Okay. But surviving the last to survive the battle earns you a tribute depending on the number of soldiers that survive from all the players. So that's also one of the good things why you have to survive to the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, KC, for overview of Village War the Calamity. Yes. Published now, your newest release from Nibcard.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You have anything else to say? You have another 30 seconds here, or you've already mentioned what's coming next?
I just want to say thank you. Thank you, BoardGameGeek. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Derek. Thank you.
Yeah. Great to have you join us. And now you can go get some rest.
And Lincoln.
And Lincoln too.
Bye.
Man in the cards.
And Nikki.
Thank you.